I'm on holidays right now, but those adaptive cards just don't want to let me go. I can't rest thinking about them. So I decided to really make this video about adaptive cards, about how to use them so that I can really rest peacefully. So yeah, just watch it and let me know how it really went. Thank you. Hi. So some of you already knows that recently I'm trying really to dive deep into the adaptive cards technology and to show you how it works, how you can use it, but mostly how you can benefit from using them in your business processes. And what is also important, how your business users can benefit from having them in their processes. And today I've created a small showcase, like real working application solution. It is a leave request process, so one of the human resources department resources, most desired resources. It is built using PowerApps. Data is stored in common data services. Microsoft Flow is used for the whole approval process and communication. And there is also Microsoft Teams in the end that is used for communication with user and with the team, so that I'm really trying to avoid as I can usage of emails. Um, the other thing that I like to highlight here is that it's really important to have your solutions built in a single environment, in a single place, so that your users are not confused when asked to leave one environment and go to another, or to log out and log in into another application. So if you're just working in Office 365 and doing everything you can using the Power Platform and tools that you have inside, that also helps you in adoption. It is much faster because users are really working inside a single place where all tools are just there, built for them, and they're not getting confused, as I said, by the need to really leave one place and go to another just to have their businesses done. So having that said, the Common Data Services is built of two entities. The first one is called where it is, yeah, the leaf dimensions. And that is basically like a header entity. So it only holds the information about how many days left every employee has per year. So in each year. So that's just the quota information. And now the second entity is built to store all those single requests users are placing. So from this entity knows who requested for what kind of leave, for how many days, in what year, and then by whom it was approved, and what was the outcome, and what was the comment, if there were any. And it's also having this lookup here for the header information. So now having this row, I really can bind a header information, so I know the quota and with the user. On the other hand, there is the leaf application. So yeah, that's built on top of Power Apps. The first thing the application does, so on start, is first getting user's email and current year, and then using this concurrent function here. Whoa, a huge hole. Using this concurrent function is loading information from collections for current user and for current year, from common data services into collections. So therefore, application really works much faster. And apart from that, using this concurrent function also allows application to get information from CDS faster than if two clear collections were in a sequence. So first completes, and then the second one happens. So having them running really parallelly makes this loading time really fast. Now the second thing that is here very important is the form. It allows user to pick from one of the available leave types, then define dates from which to when the person is requesting for the leave. And lastly, the submit button, after it checks if all the settings of the form are done correctly, is simply patching the record to the database, to the common data services. So it's now creating a new entry, leave entries record, and that's done. So that is how application works. Oh, let's see how it really works then in production. So that is my employee. I called him John Researcher because we are just researching new things together. And now that is his dashboard. So he sees all his leaves, how many days left he have in this year. So he already has 0 parental leave and 18 holidays, 45 special. So now he wants to request a new special leave. He's on holidays, he's partying hard, and now he needs to really rest. So he's requesting maybe a week. Yeah, a week. Just a week. A week of a holiday. I need some more rest. Right, so the request was sent successfully. You can see that here is now a new request pending for approval. Let's see in the database if there is new record already present, or there should be. Yeah, like I need some more rest. There is the one in approval. Very well, so you may already notice that this application is not redirectly triggering Microsoft Flow. I've decided to do this that way because the application itself is, well, really errorless. So there is no need to really wait for the response from PowerApps if the flow has started properly or not. So I decided just to use a trigger from Common Data Services. It's in P1 plan, the Premium 1 plan, and it's called when a new request is, when a new record is created in an entity. So that is an action that is just listening to the leave entries entity. And then once the new record is created, it is triggering the process. So the second thing it does is getting this related header information. So then I can really calculate the quota. Next thing, it is also getting details about the requesting user and his or her manager. And then based on the leave type here, it is also getting from the Common Data Services the information about what is the actual quota. So what is the number of days left the user has. This will be then needed because I have to subtract the number of requested days if approved, so then user really sees how many days left they have. Next, I'm using this assign approval to task manager action. So that is just an action that is assigning a task and it's not waiting. So the task is created, user is notified that the approver is notified that there is a new task. However, flow is moving on. Now, what is also important here is that I'm using this markup formatting here. So there is like a header. This is bold. The dash here says it's a bullet point. So this email, once opened, really display information in a very neat way. Now, some of you may already notice that when you create this task action without awaiting for the task to be approved, for the task to be completed, and then you look at the properties that are returned by this action, one of them is adaptive card. And yes, that is a really working JSON code of an adaptive card that you can later post to Teams to ask your user for an approval. And for like a week ago, just a week ago, it wasn't working. But fortunately, Microsoft has implemented a hotfix and made it work. What is just very important, this adaptive card works only when you send it to the user in private message, not to the channel. So it doesn't work the way that if you post it to the channel, then any user from the channel can complete a task. No, it won't work there. But it will work in the private communication, private message. So thank you, Daniel, for the information, for the hint that is already working. I agree it works. So yeah, really, you can really benefit from this solution. However, this adaptive card that is created by the flow itself is not that very much user-friendly. I mean, I don't like it personally, and I wanted to somehow enhance it to make it more user-friendly, more colorful, to put the custom images. So what I decided to do is to get the code from adaptive card to parse it so that I can have those properties. And then I decided to create my own body part. For those of you who already played with adaptive cards, the structure of the body, the structure of the card is basically built from the header, like what is a type and then what is a schema here and the version. So that's uh, the core of the adaptive card. Then there is the body. So what you can see is displayed here. That is a body. And at the end, there is also actions. So the buttons and what is really happening once the button is clicked. Here, what I have to say is that if you have the actions, you have like 4 types of actions you can really use today. Whereas OpenURL and toggle visibility actions are really local and are like triggered and are happening on the user side, on the client side. So the OpenURL is simply opening a URL in the second tab. Toggle visibility is just showing or hiding a part of the card. On the other hand, the submit and show card are actions that has to be or that are being sent to the engine, to the bot Flowbot or any other implementation of the SDK that knows how to handle this submit. That is really important to know because every time you use an adaptive card, there has to be something that takes the JSON and generates this nice looking card. And then this thing that is using the SDK to parse the JSON is also then waiting for every submit or show card actions to get them, translate them, and then really push them forward to target environment, target application, whatever. Speaking about Microsoft Teams and adaptive cards, this thing is a bot flow or Flowbot, just a bot built on top of a bot framework. So that bot is taking this submit, is looking on the parameters, on the contents of the submit, and then is doing the things, the job. So then pushes the information to, for example, in this case, task in Microsoft Flow. So if you'd like to create your own card with a submit action, for example, to call another flow, you can't do it using submit action because in submit, you're also unable to define the URL, right? The submit allows you only to define the basic information. There is no URL parameter attribute. So then you have to create a bot, for example, that once receives the payload from your submit action, knows how to handle it. Fine. So speaking about that, or having that said, that is my approval card that I've built. And now moving back, I took the code, I took this body code from that I designed. I put these placeholders, so I made it dynamic. So then it will be replaced with actual information. And lastly, I have constructed my own adaptive card by concatenating the header information, my body, and actions. And yes, again, speaking about the actions, as you saw here, so these are the actions that the adaptive card will send to the Flowbot when I click approve or reject. It's a lot of information, and if I lose them, then the Flowbot will not know what to do with my submit action, with my approve or reject action. And therefore, I decided to leave them untouched. So the actions part is just raw, not customized, not anyhow modified, but I just changed the body. And then next thing is I'm using this post it's called post adaptive card in a private conversation to the user. So I'm posting this my custom adaptive card to the approver in a private message. So let's see how it works now. That is me. I'm a manager of the John Researcher, and that is my private chat where I can find a new flow generated card, adaptive card. So that is how it looks like in the reality. So I want to approve it. Hey, have a rest. Now, because my body is customized here, then once the card, once the yeah the action is submitted, the Flowbot is replacing my card with the confirmation card. And unluckily, in this case, it is replacing it with just the contents that I've created for the approval task action. So it doesn't look any more that fancy. This only can be done if you're recreating your own bot and really having the control, the full control on what is being sent as the response. But since we are not the owners of the Flowbot, we have to live with that, or I have to live with that. So next, Flow is waiting for the approval, and once it's done, once it gets the approval, it is updating the entry with the information from the approval. So it is registering who approved, when approved, what was the comment, what was the outcome. And then if the approval was made or the rejection was made, Flow is also posting to the user, to the requester, the confirmation card with the contents. So let's see if I received anything. Sorry, that's not a card. I should go here to Teams, to my John Researcher team. And yes, there is my approval confirmation visible already. So as you saw, I've already built 2 additional cards. So that is a card that is being used for both approval and rejection. Just the image is different. So in any case, user has his request approved or rejected, is getting kind of this card. And then if this was a rejection, then the flow is simply terminating. However, if it was an approval, then flow is subtracting number of days from the existing quota. And another thing is that is putting information about this leave into the requester and manager's calendars. So once again, now let's jump to calendar. And let's see if there is a new request present. It was in July. Yep, it was in July. There is this new special leave. It's present very well. And then last thing that the flow does, and I really find it very useful, is that it is generating an ICS file so that other members of the team, I will show you in a second, are going to be able to really get the information about this leave of their colleague and have it in their own calendars, because maybe they are co-workers, maybe they are working on the same project, and that maybe they want to have, maybe they want to see it. And of course, I would be able to post it as well to a shared calendar, to the group calendar. But having this in their own private calendars is, I think, much more fancy, because they can really have it in front of their eyes all the time. So that's just a simple ICS file. It's just the contents of this ICS. And then I'm generating this ICS and storing it in a blob storage. Now, one remark here: if you want to have the file in a blob storage to be downloaded when opened, the ICS file to be downloaded when opened and not being displayed as a plain text, you have to use the content type called application octet stream. Other case, if you use like application calendar or calendar text, it will be simply displayed in the browser as a text, as a plain text. So it won't work. It will not do the job. And then lastly, what Flow is doing, again, based on the kind of the leaf, it is first updating the header information. So it is basically updating the number of available days that a user has in current year to use. And lastly, it's posting an adaptive card to the team in which user is working with, in which using is a member. with the information that this particular user is going on leave between these particular dates. So let's see how it works here. Right, so that's a special leave announcement about the John researcher. Every member of the team can now see when he's leaving, when he's going back, and there is this add to calendar button here, so I can click it, and then I'm downloading from my blob storage the ICS file that I can just open as the calendar item in my Outlook, and then simply add it to my team. Sorry, to my own calendar. So that is that simple. That is what the flow does. So finally, let's just jump back to the application. So now John Researcher received information that his request has been approved, and so he can click the refresh button. And hey, yes, now he can really drill down information about his request, see who approved when and what were the comments, and well, just simply go on holidays and have that really precious rest. So, yeah, thank you very much. I hope you like this presentation, you like this demo. Uh, if you have any questions about adaptive cards, if you have any questions about the solution, just simply reach me out using the contact form on my blog. And yes, you can follow me on my blog. You can follow me on my Twitter. I encourage you to do so because I'm really posting a lot of awesome content. And this video is also going to be put in on my blog with a little bit of more description about how the flow runs and how the adaptive cards are being created. So yeah, just let's stay in touch and see you around. I hope this is not my last video. Bye.